They were like, oh, wait, Israel wasn't thinking they were going to go down. What, nigga, shut up, man. We'll sacrifice to Baal or something. What we did. But then once they're in captivity, that lamentations begin. And that's how it's going to be. It's going to be cold.
Yeah, let me read the last verse that I was going to read. Verse 16. They shall be ashamed and also confounded, all of them that shall go to confusion together. That make us idols. This is actually last verse. Verse 17, it says, but Israel shall be saved in the Lord Yahweh with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end.
That's cold. That's really what it's going to come down to. It's like, that's why its truth is about endurance. Because once, like, the reward we're going to receive at the end is going to so outweigh the process of getting it. It's going to be nothing but jubilation. Because why? What we're going to, once it's revealed, like, yo, you're the chosen, you're put in the position of authority over the earth, you get to be joint heirs in the kingdom. It's nothing but bliss, nothing but good times, man.
Precept to back up. 2 Corinthians 4:17. For a light affliction, which is but for a moment, working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory.
Yeah, you could be getting tortured, getting your skin peeled off, getting your toes cut off, for a period of 9 months, and that would still not be like compared to the rewards you're gonna get at the end. It's still not even gonna balance it, man. It's still gonna the reward is gonna far outweigh anything you have to suffer for. That's why it's like what we have is it's a light affliction. Because you go back, like we're not in hardcore bondage. We're not out in the field picking cotton, getting whipped. That now is the time where it's like you can even
funny.
You can go out and you can go get some tail, you can go drink some alcohol, eat a meal. You can there's things to basically take away from just being in a constant state of fucking 5 o'clock.
A fella's got as well. Yes, sir.
She can't have
Let me read this other point to back up.
People are messing.
I'm not winning. So this is 2 Peter 3 and I'll start from 3 and 1. The second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you in both which I stir up your pure mind by way of remembrance, that ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandment of us, the apostles of the Lord and Saviour, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as were from the beginning of the creation. But this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. But the heavens and earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire, against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men.
It's like I read before, these things are like the flood. That's why you need to go back and basically search, look up history, go into history and work out like what went down. Otherwise, you're not going to learn. Because this, I think 2 Peter 2 mentions about Sodom and Gomorrah, and basically the judgment visited on them, and how that was an example. And that's the thing, is there's been examples, like if you go into the word, then it's like there's myriad times where it's basically just like, hey, look, you can go back and look. There's like and learn. There's no benefit in getting involved in X, Y, Z, man. That's like even becoming a Greek, because now it's like the same thing as this. Jacob's gone off and they're getting all up into that Greek way of life. That but it's like what you've seen before. How did it go down before? How did it go down last time?
The fashion of this world passes away. Let me read this in Romans 15 and 4. For whatsoever things are written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So when you really go into the word, what you actually find it like a good example is dealing with Daniel in the lion's den. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or Hananiah, Mishael, and Ananias, or Ananias. I'm trying to remember their names, man. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Hananiah, Mishael, or Mishael. I forgot the other name. But basically, when they had to, they had the idol of Nebuchadnezzar, and when the music was meant to sound, they were meant to bow down before it. But they said that we can't bow down before it. So what happened? They were going to put them in the fire, the oven. And then the Lord came in the midst of the fire and protected them. So these are things that were on the fortime that you got to understand that this time that we're in, this is the time, what we're leading up to right now is the time of Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation. Alright? And it's basically going to be a test. Alright? All the things that we've been going through, actually Peter spoke about it being of what's that thing called? Being of manifold temptations, alright? Basically, everything we go through on a day-to-day basis, because remember the Lord spoke about not worrying about tomorrow, because tomorrow will take care of itself, and that sufficient is the evil of today, alright? Every day holds some level of evil in it, where your level of willpower, alright, your level of faith is able to bear. But all these things are basically accumulating to build up, to galvanize you, to make you ready for the day of the Lord. The time of Jacob's trouble as to where you need to basically be able to withstand the time of Jacob's trouble, man, the hour of temptation.
Now he's trying to move to taxi driver. 2 Timothy 2, just quick one, 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua HaMashiach. No man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier. Yes. So endure hardness, that's a big part of basically what's going to happen. It's going to be a matter of all kinds of fucked up shit. It's going to be going down. It's going to be like
it's at a time like never before, man.
Yeah,
and
it's going to be aimed and directed at the men teaching the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, those of the hopeful elect. Basically, that's who the main heat is going to be directed at, because that's who. Hey, that's what we're getting tried in the fire. That fire of adversity. That's what's being used to basically perfect us, man. Into that fine gold.
Oh, I got that.
Yeah.
1 Peter 1 and 6. Wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious, of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua HaMashiach, whom having not seen ye love, in whom though now ye see him not, yet believing ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls. And that's really what we're enduring this, we're doing this working, because what? Faith without works is what? Dead. Alright? We've been bestowed a gift of grace, alright? The gift of faith through grace and mercy of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, Hashem HaKadosh. And then being given that faith is basically likened onto a talent. So you have someone that's like a talented football player, or a talented boxer, or a talented mathematician. Any form of talent. You may have a knack for it, but that's not enough for you to actually become great within it, alright? Or should I say to become a master in it. So what you have to do to attain mastery is basically work that talent so it can be brought to its fullness, right? That's why the Lord says strive unto the masteries, because we're meant to be striving with the talents that we've been bestowed. As it tells you in the parable, some were given 5, 3, or 1. You gotta work that to the push to the limit, and basically, bring out the greatness in that talent. And in doing so, when the Lord makes his appearing and you give him his usury back on the talent he gave you, you basically will enter into the kingdom and the salvation. You know what I'm saying? I'll go back to where I was at. Revelation 11. You got something? Let me read it.
Oh, go.
Revelations 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, my voice ain't used to it. So I know we've been in the woods and ain't had to include the voice like that. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Alright? So as I've read before, dealing with the angel speaking about the three woes, the word woe means destruction. And the three woes are basically talking about the three world wars that are prophesied of in this day and age that we live in. Alright? But that's why in what was just spoken, that the two woes are past. You have World War III that took place from 1914 to 1918. You had World War II that took place from 1939 to 1949. And since 45, sorry. And what's basically happened is, since that time, the world's been in turmoil, right? Because you had when you had America and Russia establish themselves after World War II, what you had is the German scientists who basically divided between those two powerful nations, and they more or less instantly entered into the Cold War, alright? Where basically Germany and America were going toe-to-toe to basically establish Russia. See, this is how I know I'm fucking tired, though. Russia and America going toe-to-toe to basically establish themselves as world power, a dominant force upon the earth, alright? And then through the process of time, Russia fell, man. And that was really for the fulfillment of prophecy, dealing with the fact that the book of Ezekiel 38 and 39 will tell you about the hooks being put up in their jaw and remembering our old way, because Russia's got a job to do. They're the feet of the beast in Revelation, the 13th chapter, being the beast of Esau, and that's going to basically be the end of Edom, right? So they need to be brought back into power to actually be the dominant force to, put them missiles on America from Russia with love, all right? And that's why we're in the midst of World War III, amidst all the turmoil you see going on the earth, dealing with this CV-19, all right? The natural disasters that are taking place, the rights of the people being taken away, and the formulation of the mark, all right? The MOTB. All these things indicate the time of the end, and they're all going to culminate to the main prophecies inside of the Bible. What are the main prophecies in this time? That of Mark of the Beast, all right? Oh shit, I went in. MOTB, all right? Being World War III, and then ultimately in the midst of World War III, being the establishment of the Lord making a return with the chariots of Israel, all right? And basically the great salvation of the children of Israel as well. This is what we're in the midst of, right? All these things, but then let's not forget the time of Jacob's trouble as well, because there's going to be a great insurrection against the children of Israel, man. And when an enemy comes in as a flood, then shall I raise up a standard against them. All these things have to take place. And even there has to be some that have to die for it to come become martyrs for the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem El Shad, Ba'Shem Arakah Kadash. There's multiple things that need to be established upon the earth before it's coming. But the great thing about it is we're in the midst of those things happening right now.
I've got Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. If Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then shall his kingdom stand?
You want to go into it?
Yeah. That's basically what it is. It's like the brother mentioned with Russia and America. Them being in contention, they're both Esau, man. They're both different, what's it called? Different parts of the power system of Esau, man. Same beast. So for them to be in conflict, that then means that what you're bringing about your own end. And that's why it's like Satan be divided against himself, how can his kingdom stand? And you've seen it. They've basically been, their objective is to undermine one another. And that's the thing, on the weaponry front, like once it hit nuclear weaponry, it was sealed. Because from that level, then it's just like you can obliterate each other. And that's where it's like the prophecy comes in. Because what the Lord said, he's made the smith to blow off the coals of the fire. And that smith, that nuclear missile, they've been formed, they've been worked, and it's been spread all around the earth. Man. Everyone's ready for that end. There's one other one I had as well. Isaiah 13 and 11. And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Yeah, so basically this is these intense times, they're going to be utilized. That's the furnace, man. That's the what's it called, man?
Furnace.
I think it's furnace.
Adversity.
Yeah. I was thinking, what's this? It's called a furnace for like a blacksmith.
No.
Something else, isn't it? But
it's a finding pot where they use the furnace. It's not it's a finding pot because you have to plate. It's a different contraption, but the furnace is different.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing, really.
Because it's that fire. Basically, you have that fire which is utilized to, and that's how, like Jacob, basically the men of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, those elect men are going to be brought through that fire, and then that's going to refine, remove all the impurities, and basically get them in a situation where they're going to become, ready to for Yahushua's return to take over this place.
I will say, Daniel 2:41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes part of potter's clay, part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. Right? Now this kingdom that's being spoken of, this ain't even talking. This is dealing with Esau, all right? But it's not even dealing with Esau in a facet of the Russians and America. It's dealing with the Esau. It's dealing with Esau in terms of the Western world. America, NATO and the EU. So it's showing you on all fronts, this devil, man, he's a devil, all right? There's no way you can get along. That's why you even got, I've been hot in this guy this week, man. My son, being people talking about, there's no honor. There's no honor with these niggas no more. No, before street niggas, they'll hold their mouth and, nigga, shut the fuck up, nigga. There's no honor among thieves. And this is the thing with the underworld, the underbelly of society. You have criminality running at full force. And there's no form of honor amongst thieves, man. But guess what? This is the same thing that translates over into Esau Edom, right? The so-called white man as is known today. He is not an honorary individual. He's made to be the devil. The establishment of this world that we live in is done by thievery and robbery. Hey, that's why you see so-called UFOs coming forth from this world, man. And it was a crazy clip. They had a pyramid-shaped IFO, Chariot of Israel. Basically, I forgot what land it was in. It was in not Colombia, not Peru, one of the South American countries. And you basically had them shooting heavy artillery, like 50 caliber bullets at a pyramid-shaped chariot, basically. And it must have had a force field around it or something. But when it was hitting it, you could hear the bullets ricocheting off the force field or whatever. But that's a curse that's going forth over the whole earth. And the reason why it's going forth, it tells you in the book of Zechariah, the 5th chapter, is for everyone to steal it on this side and that side. So Esau on all levels, this man is fucked. He's truly fucked. Right? The Lord is going to reveal himself. And this is why, knowing the terrors of the Lord, we persuade men. This is why we're out here on the highways and byways, week in and week out. And we do our videos, all right? And we stay in the spirit, we stay in the holy conversation. Because at the forefront of our minds is the Lord making a grand return upon the earth. So let me read on. So it says, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with the miry clay. Alright, and the iron portion of it would be all the countries. Actually, let me read on. So it says, verse 42. And as of the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Alright? And that's basically pertains to, the pig nations. I was going to say Paris, Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, and Spain. Even right now, Greece are going buck wild crazy, man. I forgot they're protesting because of the lockdown restriction or something like that. So all these nations,
like Europe, most of the Europe
on fire.
They're non-stop. Because like France was on this wave for a year before anything was popping up.
Yeah,
like,
the yellow jacket.
vest, man.
Yellow
Jaune,
vest,
gilet, or whatever the fuck. But that's why it's and that's the thing. That resistance is funny. Like people, what do you call it, man? They're basically making themselves known as the resistant element to the New World Order, man.
And ultimately, you ain't seen nothing yet because, well, we're in August yet. Tomorrow, what's going to happen? They're going to implement the law. The law's going to come into effect in France. So basically, if you ain't got the passport, the health card or whatever it's called, basically you're not allowed to go into certain domains within society. Now, something that's heavy part of French culture, for what I've been understood to be told, is that of going to the cafe and having your croissant and your cup of coffee or whatever. That's a heavy part of their culture. So these are things whereby now people are saying, okay, we're gonna go and get the vaccine, but other people are upset, and what they're doing, they're basically making an uproar in society. So what you're gonna, and then the same thing's gonna take place over in the UK. When they're saying over here, September, say 2 months of rave clubbing, and it really 1 month actually, 1 month. So the demographic they're gonna hit is what the younger generations. Now you're gonna have a lot of people that are gonna get vaccinated, but then on the other hand, you're gonna have a lot of people that are rebellious towards this whole agenda, and they're gonna cause up, kick up some fuss basically. So right now, the Heavenly Father, he's poured in the mixture and he's stewing the pot to a great boil and stirring the utensil around to make sure everything ferments perfectly, man. Stew to perfection.
Amos 9 and verse 8. Behold, the eyes of the Most High Power are upon the sinful kingdom, and and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. Saving, I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith Yahweh. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Yeah, so these events, it's also a sifting process for the elect, basically. It's basically sifting out the wicked, sinful Israelites. They're going to get caught in the net and are going to be party to the destruction that's going down. It says, well, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
But that's going into the same thing that's in the book of Peter, about the scoffers walking in their own lust. Because a lot of them, they don't want to hear it.
In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up its ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. And that's a big part. It's the house of the tabernacle of David, house of David being built back up, being put back together. And this is a core feature. This is why it's not just something you can go into in the mindset of any of the carnal approaches, right? If you have that, and that's as well why these new identities, they not to be found, like not to be done, there's no power in it. Being a Venezuelan, being a black, being a Native American, being all these bywords and proverbs, you're basically cutting yourself off from any capability to get to the root of who you are and what your power is, man. It says what? And I will raise up its ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. Yeah, so it's going to go back when David was on the scene. When David was on the scene, that was when you had all 12 tribes moving in accord, man. Doing righteousness, man. Conquering, and a big part of that, of why the heathen was upset, is them man were getting conquered.
Solomon as well, time of Solomon. Peace.
All as one.
Everyone came, that was more or less the kingdom. Everyone was coming to what? Hear of the wisdom of Solomon. And what is Solomon? Who is Solomon? Yahweh Shai. And ultimately, Yahweh Shai wrote the word. So if they wanted to hear of that's basically more or less the fulfillment of the book of Isaiah. About, or Hebrew, should I say. Is it in Isaiah, I believe, where it says, none shall, it ultimately says, for all shall know the Lord.
Oh, no need to teach your name.
Yeah. For all shall know the Lord.
I think it's Isaiah.
Yeah, I believe it's Isaiah. I wanted to get into this more, bring that up with the spirit. Just to back up your point. I should go more.
Yeah, I was going to do that.
Quick one.
Yeah, just listen.
Hosea 1 and 9. Then said the Most High, call his name lower me. For ye are not my people, and I will not be your power. Right? Lower me, basically, in the Hebrew is La'ah Amyah, which basically is La'ah is no, not Amyah, meaning my people. Right? I am be the people, Yah be the mine. So basically, the Heavenly Father said he's going to go into mention before about the prophecy being fulfilled of the Heavenly Father, like making a divide between us and him, that will not deal with us no more. Verse 10 is the point. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. Right? So that means what? The children of Israel are always going to be upon the earth. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. So all these children of, all these Jakes, children of Israel out here, that say that, the Boricua or so-called black African American or black Nigerian or black British, Ashanti, different things, Jamaican, alright, West Indian or Islander, what you're gonna find is that basically in the mix with the remnant you have starting with the apostles, a great millstone. You have men that are actually coming forward and saying, I'm of the tribe of Judah, Yahweh, which means, you know, praise the Most High. I'm from the tribe of Asher, which means happy. You know, they're gonna basically establish themselves. And the fact that we're even saying it now, what do you have? You have people saying, nah, you're not the children of Israel. But guess what? It's gonna be known in that day. In the same place you'll put to shame, there shall you get fame. So the Heavenly Father's gonna make it as to where there's no second guessing whether we are the children of Israel or not.
That they may possess, Amos 9 and 12, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen, which are called by my name, saith Yahweh, that doeth this. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes, him that soweth seed, and the mountain shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people, and they shall build the waste cities, and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof, and they shall make gardens and eat the fruit of them. I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, saith Yahweh thy power. Yeah, that's the main goal. That's the main end. That's really what Israel and Israel is desiring for. To basically be able to be in your land, be at peace, be able to operate, serve Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh, keep the law perfectly. All these things, these are the things that we desire and want. Because why? It's on this side, what? Everything's a mess. The whole family structure is a complete mess. The Israelite man is bugged out of his mind. The Israelite woman is bugged out of her mind. You have to partake in the system that upholds wickedness at every angle, man. Every means by which things operate is through wickedness, man. The manner in hell, having to endure through hell, that's this. There's no desire to be here, man. We want to see judgment executed and people doing wickedness. These are the things that we savor for and desirous of, man. Because then once we're in the kingdom, that's it, man. It's all set. That's why it's like, you're not looking for no future on this side, man. There ain't nothing to be found. Any kind of little pocket of whatever you're trying to make, it's not gonna run, man.
Yep. Yeah, Hebrews 11 and 13. These all died. Let me start from 8, then I'll to 10, then I'll jump down to 13. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed. And he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith, he sojourned in a land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is the Most High. Verse 13. These who died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims upon the earth. Right? And that's basically the same thing, and that's the same mentality that we bear. We look at it like this is a momentary thing. We're not here for we're really here. Well, for what are y'all going to show me on Saturday, but I'm all the pop done. Now this is the last hurrah. This is the last go around. Because in saying that, we're dealing with this like, look, whatever's going on right now, we're just going to cut through, do what we need to do, and I hope for the Lord to make a speedy return so we can be taken out of here. But guess what? The men of old, going back to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all our previous forefathers, they basically looked to the blessings afar off, and they lived their whole life saying, you know, I ain't gonna do this, that, and other, but I'm gonna wait for the kingdom to make an establishment upon the earth. And that's why in the book of Sirach it tells you about being pilgrims upon the earth. Alright? He that soweth as he that will not reap thereby. So we have a very temporal kind of mindset towards things. hey, if something works, it works. If it don't work, it don't work. No, it's watered down the duck's back, basically. That's how we look at everything. It's all about the will of Yahweh, Bar Shem El Shai, Bar Shem Al Rakak, being fulfilled. So we take everything we deal with that in tune with the spirit. Alright? And Paul spoke the same thing about it, brethren, it'd be needful that about grab it, 1 Corinthians 7 and maybe 30 minutes, something like that. Yeah, I'll wait, I'll hold it off. But basically, Paul is quoting the book of Sirach. Or is it no, 2nd Edges, 16th chapter. He's actually quoting the Apocrypha. It's 1 Corinthians 7. Where he basically says the fashion of this world passes away already. That's the last scripture. First Corinthians 7:31, that's what I thought. But it's like it leads into it. 29 down to 31.
1 Corinthians 7:29. For this I say, brethren, the time is short, it remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they that had none, and they that weep as though they that wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not, and they that buy as though they possess not, and they that use this world as of not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. But I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried careth for the things that belong to the world. What was the point you were looking at?
Yeah, we went into it. Basically, it's like not taking care for this world. He said that, don't look. He said the fashion of this world passes away. So everything we see before is temporal. This like what's in right now with Jake, off-white Jordans and off-white t-shirts and drill music, or maybe even going out to fine dining, all these things. And that's what people really set at the forefront of their mind. Okay, I need to go out and work and get my money up so I can do this. I can go and get this type of girl, go to this type of place, I can drive this kind of car. But guess what? There ain't gonna be no Mercedes-Benz in the kingdom. There ain't gonna be these things when we arrive in the kingdom. These things are temporary, they pertain to this world. So let me read on. So it says, verse 14. Hebrews 11 and 14, for they that say such things declare plainly that they see the country, and truly if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. So if they decided, Abraham would have said to himself, you know what, let me go back to Ur of the Chaldees, alright? I believe is a right, Ur of the Chaldees, right? Yeah, he said if I go back to the light of the Chaldees, I can live it up there and have peace. He didn't want it. He had full faith and belief and went through a great life, even to where he had his firstborn son from Sarah, or his secondborn, but the first of Sarah, basically born. And the Lord said after waiting for such a long time that, look, you got to kill your son. And what did he do? He didn't even say nothing. Alright, cool. Took him there, he was ready to kill him, to kill Isaac. And right as he was about to kill Isaac, the angel came and stopped him. And then brought a lamb to make a sacrifice. Alright? But that shows you how much he was so into the will of the Heavenly Father. Alright, verse 15, and truly if they had been mindful of that country whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is, an heavenly. Wherefore the Most High is not ashamed to be called their power, for he hath prepared for them a city. Let me grab to another precept. Close out, right? But you got anything?
No, close out.
Yeah, I got a couple scriptures I want to hit. Then we can close out. So this is the book of Isaiah 62 and 6 and 7. It reads, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Alright, we fall into that. Lord willing, we be those righteous watchmen, alright, unto salvation, election of Yahweh, Barshem El-Shai, Barshem El-Rapah, Dash, alright? And we're basically not holding our peace day nor night because we do what? Sit downs, these videos go on the World Wide Web and they fall into that. Psalms the 19th chapter about day and night and be able to hear his word. Alright? So it says, ye that make mention of the Lord Yahweh, keep not silence. So basically us that speak of this word, we're told not to hold our tongues basically. Verse 7, I give them no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise on the earth. So we, hey, like you had this individual basically speaking about the apostle, the elder apostle Tahar should step down from being a, he never said he was a high priest, man. And he even went into it. Going back to the school, he's known as a high priest, but what is he known as today? The elder apostle Tahar, alright? And in having that name, that title, right, not so much the title, but more him being in his office, he's working on towards salvation, alright? And the way you get saved is, it says, he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. This ain't a time when you got to retire and fall back. It says, give them no rest until you make Jerusalem a praise on the earth. And that goes in hand, precept with what I just mentioned, dealing with, because you was flying low, man.
That was wild. But yeah, like,
that goes into what I just mentioned about he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. Because why? Jerusalem is going to be taken, the truth, you know, Jerusalem, the people before as a place, they're going to be beamed up all together, taken into the fathership of Yahweh Barshem El-Shai, alright? And then what they're going to do, they're going to come back down again. And it will be established upon the earth in the time of the end. This is the last one I was going to finish on. So it's the book of Revelation 21 and 1. And it says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And that's when Jerusalem is going to be made a praise on the earth, when it's established upon the earth, coming down from Heavenly Father onto this earth. Right? So with that, man, you know, Lord, Yahweh Barshem El-Shai, Barshem El-Rapah, allowed us, gave us strength and power to come out here and basically teach His word. And the Lord willing, we'll be out here next week to continue in the endurance. And we really pray and hope that, hey, we're not, they ain't even the next week, because the next week will be in the kingdom, man. But with that, you know, say all praises to Shalom, man. Shalom.